Nate 35, and this is my update from my build of the HSD Zero. But before we get into the build, I just wanted to show you, after a little quick research on the internet, or in the internet, basically I found that this plane is an actual plane. As you can see there is the picture on the internet, and here is the plane. So the pilot of this particular aircraft is actually an ace, a Japanese ace, and let me just see if I can show you who it is. If I can do this thing. Okay, here we go. Here is the pilot, Tetsuzo Iwamoto. The guy was an ace, like I said. I can't remember the exact amount of, I guess, kills he had, but that's him with the cigarette there. Fortunately, he died at an early age. He's only 38. So anyhow, that's the actual pilot that that actually flew this plane. So just wanted to kind of throw that out there. Okay, so let's get started. Let me just talk about one of the things I did not like about this plane. So basically, the elevator wings there, it basically just gets pushed together, and it's a pretty tight fit. So I actually didn't even put any glue on here, and I don't think you really need to. I tried pulling it apart. I couldn't even get it apart anymore. I mean, I probably could if I had some help, but it's a fairly straightforward process. Just basically connecting those two together. There is I don't know if you can see that, but there's a plastic. One is a female, one's a male, and you join that together, and that allows the elevator to move it up and down simultaneously. On the right side is where the servo is connected to the elevator, and in this case here, very little slop on that right wing, on that right elevator portion. On the left side, though, there's quite a bit of slop, and that's really just because the way it was connected together with that plastic male and female connector there. The hole was just basically bigger than it had to be, and was not a snug fit, so it allowed it to have the slop that I'm showing you here. So that's one thing I did not like about it. Here is the clevis, and they're all exactly the same. There is a little, I think it's like a little aluminum type of rod that's in there that basically holds on to the control horn, and you just clamp it together, and it's locked in there. I'm thinking of maybe putting a hose, a tube on that just to make sure, but it is fairly snug. But just for safety reason, it wouldn't hurt, that's for sure. So I wish that thing came with it already, but it didn't. So something you may or may not want to do when you get yours. Okay, so on the spinner, I left this thing loose just because I wanted to show you what it was doing when I put it together. So basically, the way it is right now, the screw's loose, so it allows that spinner to basically move forward and backward. If I was to, the way it came, if I was just to go ahead and screw that down and tighten it, it would still have slop like this. And what I ended up doing is, and I don't know if you can see this or not, let's see if we can get this to focus here. There is actually a washer in there, so you can see. Anyhow, I put a couple of washers on there, and once I did that and I tightened it up, I can do this thing while recording. Once I tightened that up, it no longer had that slop. Let's see if I can snug that down. So that took the slop out of there. So that's an easy fix, but the way it was, it definitely had either that the screw was too long or something, but it had that play on there, and I didn't like that. So simple washers fix the problem. Good and done. So aside from those 2 or 3 things that I talked about, that's really the only gripes I had on this plane. The rest of it, I think, was really well done. So here is the inside of the plane. As you can see, you've got that. I think it's a plywood piece of wood that's down there at the bottom, and it has a little circuit board that the servos are all connected to, which makes it super easy to use. And then that circuit board, I connected that to the Lemon RX with stability. So it's kind of like an AS3X type of thing, but obviously not AS3X because it's a Lemon RX. So anyhow, this is the 7-channel Lemon RX stabilized / receiver, and I really like these receivers. It's really well made. I have that on a lot of my planes, and they have never failed me, and I really like them. So that's a very simple product to use, self-explanatory almost. So I highly recommend that, and if you'd like to try it, I would say go for it. The battery that's in here right now, because I wanted to check to see how the CG is on this, is a 3000 4S battery. It's an Admiral from Motion RC, which another product that I really like. That is as far forward as I can get that battery, and with that battery in there, 3000 milliamp, like I said, it is still tail heavy. So I really need to get a bigger battery. I don't want to put weights on that. I'd rather use power as opposed to just dead weight. So I will be buying a 4000 at some point. So there it is. It's, again, very simple, very clean, or at least I think it's somewhat clean. And I have a satellite connected to that as well. I have not mounted that yet, as you can see in the back. But again, this is just to test things out. Everything's working out really well right now, so I'll show you what the flaps and gears and how all that stuff looks. Okay, so what I'm using on this application, is just the DX7. I've got this switch for flaps. You can see. I've got this switch here for the landing gear. And lastly, I've got my back switch here to turn on and off the stability controls. I don't know if you can see that, but let's see if I can. I don't know if you can see that, but basically that turns it on and off. And once I turn it on, the gyro works. See? And all your controls should go the opposite, or at least point to the direction that it's actually going to. So going up, if I push this wing up, my aileron should go up. As you can see, it's going up. So same thing with the back elevator. If I was to push the tail end up, that elevator should point up as well. And rudder, if I go to the left, it'll point to the left. So that's that. Everything works really well. I like the way it does all of its things. I like the landing gear. I like the way it goes up and down. Well, on when it goes up, it goes one at a time, which is pretty cool. And that's pretty much it. Once I get the pilot, I will go ahead and glue it in to inside the canopy, and that'll make it so that I can finally start, hopefully fly the sucker. But lastly, the I think this is the antenna. I'm not really sure, but in any case, the way that gets put on there is there's this one screw, and I actually use epoxy as well to really give it a nice snug installation, and that looks really that's not going to go anywhere unless I crash the sucker. But anyhow, that to me worked the best, and I'll be using a canopy glue to put that together when I finally get the pilot. But other than that, there she is. She is a beauty. I highly recommend this plane. From what I saw on the internet, the plane flies really well. All I need now are those 4,000. So this is Will Nate 35 signing off. If you have any comments, any questions, I'd be happy to help and answer that for you guys. And you guys have a great day. Thanks. Bye.